Dusting myself off in the battle against Roark. The vibes are good, but not great. Losing a potential Infernape that could carry many battles in the mid and late game, and a Lucario that can counter significant portions of enemy teams with its superior coverage definitely stings. But there's still plenty to be optimistic about. Most of my party and box haven't come close to reaching their full potential yet, and I have a slew of encounters from here until Eterna City. But before I can progress, Professor Rowan tasked Lucas and I to team up against two Team Galactic grunts trying to steal his research, but while doing so, he had some interesting advice for the teal-haired henchman.
Quiet, you lot! Why must you be such a nuisance?
Why did I just give him a British accent?
Let me list some lessons you still need to learn. 1. Don't loiter about for no good reason. 2. Don't interrupt others while they're attempting to converse. 3. If you don't get your way, don't raise your voice to be intimidating. 4. Don't think you've grown strong just because you're in a group. 5. What is with those outlandish outfits you have on? My goodness, you call yourselves adults? You kids, don't grow up to be like these sorry specimens. Ugh, you had to make this personal. You have forced our hand into making a show of force. We will make you regret insulting Team Galactic. You kids, give these thugs a lesson in civility, please.
I lead with JJ while Lucas leads with Snubble. Glammeow kicks off the proceedings with a fake out on Snubble, while Stunky doubles up with a Smog that poisons her. Yikes. JJ does solid damage on Glammeow with Iron Head. Glammeow puts JJ to sleep with Hypnosis, while Stunky follows up with Bite. Snubble brings Glammeow into the red with an Ice Fang. Glammeow hits Snubble with a Quick Attack, and Stunky puts the nail in her coffin with a Smog. Lucas brings in his Turtwig, Stunky chips JJ with another Bite, and Glammeow connects on another Hypnosis. At this point it would be very risky to keep JJ in, so I switch into Dalton. Glammeow and Stunky double up on Turtwig with Quick Attack and Smog. Dalton picks off Glammeow with a Quick Attack of his own. Stunky misses his next Smog before Turtwig wakes up and pricks him with a Tackle. Grunt 1 brings in Cascoon. Dalton does decent damage with a Coven on Stunky. Stunky hits Turtwig with another Smog, and Turtwig decides to set up Curse. Thanks for the help, bud. He's instantly punished by a Bug Bite from Cascoon, and just like that, I am now in a 2v1. And if I don't play this correctly, I will be losing members of my team. I take the gamble and go for a KO on Stunky with another Covet, but I fall just short. And of course I get hit with a Smog that poisons, and to make matters worse, Cascoon lowers Dalton's speed with a String Shot, making it difficult to stay in with him much longer. I can at least finish off Stunky with a Quick Attack, ignoring the speed drop, but an Iron Defense from Cascoon renders Dalton useless. As Grunt 2 brings in Silcoon, I switch into Asia, which triggers an attack drop from Intimidate. Silcoon sets up an Iron Defense of his own, while Cascoon sets up another Iron Defense, bringing him to +4. Asia still deals about 2/3 of Silcoon's health with a Wing Attack, while Silcoon just sets up another Iron Defense, and Cascoon uses String Shot. Realizing that they both don't want to attack, I decide to start spamming Quick Attacks, rendering their String Shots useless. After getting the kill on Silcoon, Cascoon finally goes on the offensive, and yeah, he hit me about as hard as a wet paper towel. 3 wing attacks later, and I have beaten the first of many Team Galactic battles yet to come. Moving on from that, I head through Ravaged Path to the north section of Route 204 and pick up a Caterpie, which at first glance seems like a disappointment, but in this game, Butterfree gets a 20-point increase in special attack, special defense, and speed, along with either having Compound Eyes or Tinted Lens as an ability, making it a viable utility option for this point in the game, especially since Gardenia is rocking with a pretty dangerous team that could cause problems otherwise. Arriving in Floroma Town, I can take on the Jubilife reporter in the Poke Center to receive the 3 Johto starters. I end up choosing Totodile, which I name Aaliyah Boston. In the Valley Windworks, I catch a Magnemite named Joe Missoula, and I defeat the Galactic Grunt guarding the door before retreating to the Floroma Meadow to defeat 2 more grunts trying to steal a man's honey. As a reward for my heroic act, he gives me said honey, which I can use to get an instant honey tree encounter, which turns out to be a C-Dot that I named Jeff Green. Heading back to the Valley Windworks, Commander Mars is waiting for me. In the vanilla games, her Perugly alone is a notorious run-ender, but in Renegade Platinum, she has tacked on a Bronzor and Yanma to make this battle even trickier. I decide to bring my team to level 21, which triggers several evolutions to give me some extra firepower. Brawny evolves into Grottle, Nika evolves into a Metapod, then into Butterfree with the Compound Eyes ability, Lexi evolves into Curlia, Jeff evolves into Nuzleaf, Nafisa evolves into Vero, Kelsey evolves into Raticate, and JJ evolves into Metang. After some team building and preparation, it's time. I lead with JJ,
take a shot for every time I lead with JJ,
against her Zubat, and take 9 damage from a critical hit wing attack before frying her brains out with a critical hit extrasensory.
Get
Next up is Perugly, to my surprise. I'm now realizing that Steel is neutral to Dark, meaning that Perugly's feint attack is actually super effective against JJ, but with past me not having this knowledge just yet, I stay in with the intention to outlast her with my superior bulk. Perugly starts with a fake out, then on the next turn tries to put me to sleep with a hypnosis, but misses, allowing me to boost my defense by 2 stages with iron defense. Next she hits me with a feint attack that does 10 damage, but considering the fact it was super effective and my defense is up 2 stages, I figure a crit could kill from this range, so I switch into Sabrina on another feint attack. I'm instantly rewarded with a flame body proc. Perugly connects on a hypnosis, but I came prepared with a held chesto berry. Sabrina goes for a double kick, but a citrus berry ensures that she can survive the second hit. On the next turn she connects on another hypnosis, which is kinda unlucky. The tick damage from burn leaves Perugly on a sliver. My best course of action is to switch to Dalton to tank either feint attack or facade since it's burned. The burn takes out the fat cat and Yama is baited out. I switch into Fee on a silver wind that thankfully doesn't trigger an omni boost. Her speed boost ability ensures she goes first on the next turn, and she uses Sonic Boom before Fee responds with an aerial ace that would have killed even without the crit. Last for Mars is Bronzor. Predicting an extra sensory, I switch back into Dalton, but it uses Confuse Ray instead. I try for a feint attack, but Dalton hits himself, and Bronzor misses a hypnosis. I try again, this time pulling through and dealing just under 50%, but Bronzor connects on the next hypnosis. With the combination of Dalton's bulk and Bronzor's limited offenses, I decide to stay in and hope for an early wake up. Of course, in doing so, I stay asleep for 4 turns before finally waking up, pushing through confusion and hitting Bronzor with a covet that knocks it under 50% and steals its citrus berry, giving Dalton some extra health for himself. Dalton snaps out of confusion on the next turn, killing Bronzor with another feint attack, finishing off the first of many fights against the leaders of Team Galactic. In the southern section of Route 205, I catch a weasel named De'Aaron Fox. Yes, I'm aware it's a weasel, not a fox, shut up. Next I head up to Eternal Forest where I meet the green-haired damsel in distress, Cheryl. Ironically, in this game, I'm the one that's going to be in distress because I had no idea she wanted to battle me here. Upon further inspection, this Drifloon has Ominous Wind, Air Cutter, Shockwave, and Swift. Fee outspeeds and can take up to 3 hits of Shockwave, but things can get spooky if one of those is a crit. I decide to take the risk and use Aerial Ace, which does about 3/4, but then she uses Air Cutter. Okay, maybe I was fishing for a crit. So another Aerial Ace takes it down, and I have more health than I expected to. Next is Whalmer. You know how I literally just scouted Drifloon for its moveset a few seconds ago? Well, I f***ed up by not doing the same for Whalmer because this happens. Shoulda known. And there's a crit. And there's a fucking crit. Like, bro. Bro. With the speed drop, I couldn't risk keeping Fee for another turn, so I switch into Bronny as she heals. Whalmer outspeeds Bronny, but she just uses Miss for some reason. I make quick work of her with a few Mega Drains. Chansey comes in threatening with Serene Grace Ice Beam. Wanting to exploit its defense stat of 5, I switch into Sabrina and curb stomp the nurse's assistant with a couple of double kicks. Last on her team is Makuhita. I switch into JJ on a fake out and land a one-shot critical hit Zen Headbutt on the next turn, securing the dub. Not sure if I said this before, but let this be a reminder. Reference the docks. This battle could have gone sideways real quick if I didn't have the right setup. I was under the impression that she would want to battle me at the exit, and I'll be able to shift my team around beforehand, but I was clearly mistaken. Anyway, I decided to hold off on my encounter for this area until I guide Cheryl through the forest, just to avoid any double battle shenanigans. My encounter here ends up being Paris, who did get a pretty decent buff, but it still has 2 quad weaknesses and 4 other weaknesses. Not great. I named her Brianna Stewart. Hey, I know I just said this like 30 seconds ago, but reference the docks. Because if I did, I wouldn't have wasted my old Chateau encounter on a Ghastly that would have evolved into Gengar at level 36. Instead, I could have encountered a level 20 Gengar, or a Rotom that eventually can be changed into one of 5 different forms, each with a unique secondary typing and signature move. But here's the beautiful thing about making a mistake like this. I can learn from it. This Nuzlocke may take several attempts to complete, so more than likely I will have another opportunity to go through the old chateau and make a more informed decision about my encounter. But for now, I have to move forward and make do with what I have. And what I have is Illumise. F*** me. Oh no, I killed it. Oh well. Making my way into Eterna City, the gym is locked due to Gardenia being a Route 216. In the meantime, I talk to the scientists in the Underground Man's house to receive fossils for all 7 fossil Pokémon. Omanite, Kabuto, Aerodactyl, Laleep, Anorith, Cranidos, and Shieldon. I head east to Route 211 where I pick up a Meditite who I named Sophie Cunningham. On my way back to Eterna City to stock up on potions, I run into my worst nightmare.
Whoa. Cynthia, what you doing here? Cynthia? Oh, I know about you. What are you doing here? Don't scare me like that. Do not scare me like that. What is wrong with you?
Crisis averted. In the section of Mount Coronet near Route 211, I pick up a nose pass named Satu Sabali. By the way, the docks divide Mount Coronet into several different sections since they have slightly different encounter sets, so I will follow suit. My next encounter is at the entrance from Route 216, which ends up being Roark. Again, not great. What's also not great is what happens when I try to catch said Roark.
This shouldn't kill, right? Okay. I have to use the Great Ball. It wasted my Great Ball. Thanks. You asshat. Oh my god, now I can't get out. Oh my god.
I lose one of my best team members trapped in a fire spin because this sack of shaped like the sun refused to get in the ball. I caught it and named it Ime Udoka because he too is a sack of But to make matters worse, I accidentally killed my Route 216 encounter Smoochum. Safe to say, I was going through it at this point. At least I managed to secure my next encounter on the east side of Route 211, a Swablu I named Steven Adams. After leveling up my box in several evolutions, it's time to spin the wheel.
We're at the gym. You know what that means? We spin this wheel. That throws a wrench into my plans. Okay.
No stab moves. This is the first time I've landed on a debuff during this challenge, and it's a pretty rough one to get at this point in the game, since a lot of my Pokemon don't have the greatest coverage in the world, and I don't get access to the move relearner until Pastoria City before the 5th gym. So this limits the number of Pokemon that I can effectively use, and it limits the effectiveness of those Pokemon. Not to mention, the TMs that I have access to aren't really helpful for the grass-type gym I'm about to face. Long story short, I'm kinda screwed. My resources are limited to the point where I even considered Hidden Power, just to find out that most of them are either stab or resisted by grass.
Grass, course. Great. Great. Psychic 69. It just would be psychic. It would be psychic. Like, almost as powerful of an attack as it could possibly be, and it just had to be psychic. It just had to be. Like, come on, bro.
I decided to just wing it and see what happens. I lead with Nika against Blossom. I put her to sleep with Sleep Powder before switching to Jackie, who has Hidden Power Ice and is holding a Never Melt Ice. I manage to get 3 hits in before she wakes up. Knowing she'll heal, I go for a yawn to try to put her back to sleep. On the next turn, I hit her with another Hidden Power, and she responds with a Stun Spore. Blossom goes back to sleep, and Jackie finishes her off with 2 more Hidden Powers. Next up is Tangela. I switch into Brawny on an Ancient Power, then on the next turn, Tangela connects on a Stun Spore before I do about a quarter with Return. The next turn, same thing. I can afford to take 1 more hit, so I click Return again, and...
yeah, still going for Ancient Power. And there's the Omni Boost. Yeah, we're fucked. Okay.
Yeah, let's just go ahead and wrap it up. I managed to scratch and claw through Tangela and Cheerum, but it proves too little too late as the Ace Roserade comes in and picks off Jackie and Brawny, putting the nail in the coffin for this run. In hindsight, I could have afforded to stay in on Tangela with Jackie. Ancient Power was a 5-hit KO, while Hidden Power Ice and Uproar were both 2 shots. I don't know what was going through my head at that moment. I must have panic switched because I was paralyzed. I don't know. But regardless, I lost, and I must start over again. That's the power of the wheel. Let me remind you of the warning I gave at the beginning of this challenge. This is an advanced difficulty ROM hack after all, so a badly timed nerf could ruin my entire run. This won't be easy, but I never said it will be. This will be a grind, and I'm ready for everything that will come with it, and I hope you guys are too. We will prevail, especially if you leave a like on the video and subscribe to see every step of the journey. I'll catch y'all on the next one. See ya!